We are out here at Long Beach Impressions, and I have such a dear, special friend here with me, my personal friend, and just a man that I just have a deep respect for and look up to, Lon Winters, legend. We're having a little. His drink is a Kettle One soda, so we're gonna just chop it up a little bit.
It's a beautiful thing.
Lon, tell us about where you're from, where you've been. I realize that we don't have enough time for all of it, but what's the quick and dirty?
The short story.
When did you print your first T-shirt?
1986, 87. Honestly, you never can predict what life throws your way, but we were doing fraternity shirts, and I was dumb enough to be one of those guys that pledged. And
you were in the fraternity.
I was in the fraternity, so I got my ass whipped the year before. It was my turn to do the ass whipping. Not that happens. There is no such thing as hazing. But got to make T-shirts for the pledges, and literally on the floor with speedball.
Yep.
And the screen was, 140 years old.
Yep.
As old as the fraternity, and laying white T-shirts down on the floor.
So there was a house screen. Did y'all use this?
A house screen.
Okay, so this screen was
still
reused.
exists today.
That's so awesome.
It still exists today. It was, they were terrible.
Sure.
But I was the art guy.
Yeah.
So I had to freaking print them, right? Because I'm the art guy.
Yeah.
I had a major in mathematics and a major in fine arts.
Okay.
But since I was the art guy, I got to screen print my first T-shirt, and then
serigraphy.
Yeah, serigraphy. And then the poison's inside you, and I've been trying to get out ever since.
So you finish? You finished school out there?
Yeah.
Fine arts degree, or
fine arts and mathematics.
Okay. And then what'd you do?
I needed a goddamn job.
Yep.
I had the old man co-sign for a pickup because I was grown up. I'm going to buy a pickup, and he said, "Yeah, I'll co-sign for you, but you need a job." I took my first gig reclaiming screens in Lincoln, Nebraska. Where I went to school.
What was the name of that shop?
Encore Screen Printing.
Encore Screen Printing. They still around?
No, they are not. They had a 4-color automatic, and a bunch of manuals and thousands of wood frames stored from repeat orders. They did all the cornball stuff of the time, the cartoon cows and cartoon elephants and cartoon, and nothing ever fit when you set it up because it was all wood frames that didn't fit the first time. So it was learned a lot of the craft, I guess.
Yeah, you have to get good when your tools are primitive. Like, you're going to get really good, and then as your tools get better, naturally your processes get better. Was it a 4-color automatic because you guys were printing a lot of 4-color process, or was it a 4-color automatic because that's what was available? Or?
It was purchased because it could do 4-color process, and at the time I didn't know any better either, and obviously the business owners didn't know any better. Hey, there's 4 screens we can print all the colors in the world. Everything. So I didn't know anything about flashing, didn't know anything about, so that's why it was purchased. But we did a lot of literally black line with a couple of fill colors, so 4 colors and less. And it was a precision 4-color oval. It wasn't a machine that was designed for more heads, and it just we only bought 4. It was a 4-color oval, so it was it was only like here to the chair over there, tiny little oval. That pallet still whipped around the freaking corner.
Yeah.
Even on a small machine like that.
I was talking to John from Avian Inks earlier, and he was telling me that it wasn't until like the 70s or 80s that the first flash unit showed up.
Yes.
And so the art and everything they were printing in the beginning, he was like, yeah, we take our first 20 shirts and throw them in the trash, and you plan your art and your separations based on the tackiness of the ink, and you're rigging it from the beginning, knowing that after 20 or so prints, this is going to look proper. How do you do an underpaint? Like, it blows my mind of like the things that the legendary printers had to do to get it done.
You really had to foreshadow or your best guess of how things are going to turn out. And then the on-press troubleshooting was pure let's move this over here, let's move that over there, and that's before a registration system. So everything was, you literally, when you had to do a reset, it might take you an hour and a half, 2 hours. You got good at it,
Right.
and we created all kinds of jigs and different things to try to come up with the best way to run things. But literally in my career, the flash unit was invented. I think it was in the mid-late 80s that the flash unit. I mean, it seems like today I got 3 flash units on my machine. What are you talking about? And at the time, they stayed on all the time. So when you went to lunch, you kept the machine indexing, or called it a pizza pan, stuck this aluminum pizza pan under the flash. The precision ovals were big clamshells, actually just one side as a shield. And they were, big clamshell was all, basically you had all one speed, because all the speeds were all the same drop. All one speed, and you could screw around a little bit with pressures, but it was all on one bar. So you had to get pretty good at it.
And was it electric and pneumatic, or was it strictly pneumatic or strictly electric?
Let's throw something
Or was it coal power? You guys put coal in the
coal
oven?
power, it was raw.
Of course it was.
All electrical.
Yeah, that makes
You could hear
sense.
them go,
Yeah, because that was the technology that they solenoids. Like they had the
solenoids
things.
and rockets. And we transitioned.
Wow.
That was my OP days. A friend of mine that hired me
OP.
place in
Tell the viewers, tell them what. OP.
Ocean Pacific, the 800-pound gorilla of the 80s and 90s. Pre-Billabong, the surf brand, attitude brand of the time. They're hardly around anymore. They still have a bit of a branding scenario that somebody licenses. But
Yeah.
for the most part, that's been gone for quite a while. The guy that hired me said, "Hey, dude, if you want to get serious in this business, probably 6 months in there in Lincoln, I'll get you an interview in Denver and go work for OP." He had come, he was a production manager at OP. And those people, he was kind of winding his career down.
Yeah.
He was mellowing out. Moved to Lincoln. I was getting started, and basically bought this pickup my dad co-signed for. Put everything I owned in the back of my pickup. I was going to get married that summer, and moved to Denver on an interview. And I got the gig. They hired me as Ink Boy. I think the official title was $4.05 an hour. Within just a few months, I was a press coordinator, and a few months after that, I was a production manager. You got a half a brain, you can manage this thing.
Was Ink Boy, and what kind of inks was Ink Boy? This was the heavy inks, right? Full of
lead, baby.
Yeah.
The most opaque chrome yellow you'd ever see. No print, flash print necessary.
Not needed.
Not needed. Yeah, leaded inks. And we've seen that all transition from leaded inks to, we call it classic now, past the lead inks to non-phthalates to water-based push, silicone push, to completely eliminating PVC. So that transition has happened over the last probably 25 years. Well, 35 years.
If you were able to, like, customer independent, if you were able to build your own, like, boutique print shop, what kind of ink systems, or like what do you find that as a career craftsman, like what do you like printing with? Brand independent, but just like stylistically, do you enjoy water-based printing? Do you like the ease of plastisol? Do you think should we keep getting better at finding, inks that are safer and more sustainable and better for the environment? Obviously, but what do you like?
I suppose if you could design or build your favorite ink, maybe you have a soft feel of a discharge, and you have the ease of printability of a plastisol, a perception of green HSA. I think that all of them they have their advantages and their disadvantages, and we're in a unique kind of place. We work for all of them.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to do water-based. We need to be able to do discharge. We need to be able to do plastic silicone, whatever the project demands. And you can take each one of those and say, on performance, smooth compression fabric, there's nothing better than silicone.
Yeah.
It's going to work the best. Tougher to work with than maybe a plastic, crack, great feel. So there are places where this one's ideal versus some of these others. But everybody makes a system that will kind of cross over and be fine, but not necessarily as ideal or perfect for that application. So, I mean, I know that's kind of skirting.
No, you got to do it all, and especially because Graphic Elephants, like who y'all represent now, like tell us a little bit about Graphic Elephants and like what you do day to day.
I didn't even realize this. We had our end of the year kind of rehash with the team, and we had our best year ever since we downsized, which is now going on our 18th year. We repositioned
Post-pandemic, like that's encouraging.
Best top line and bottom line, and just what we were speaking of, way our labor's down, plus materials is equal. But some of it, and this is life's lesson, I was spending so much time on the road that I was, my shop wasn't my culture anymore. It wasn't, my wife and I have been in the business for 20 some years. It's like, it's our personality. That's what you want. Your business is your personality. And you want people to buy into that culture. And I didn't notice it, but as the pandemic jammed me back into my business, the day-to-day, it wasn't us anymore. It was my people's culture, and in some of those situations, attitudes and things can start to go in a direction you don't want them to go, or you don't even recognize them going in.
That's true.
And in a lot of ways, I didn't recognize my own business. And we survived COVID year. I don't care if I ever put another mask in my life, but I was so thankful for our relationship with Ryan that got us masks maybe before some other people.
That was wild. I remember him. He was texting me pictures of like, I'm just the ultimate hustler, like this guy that's built something that's so big that we all appreciate, respect, and rely on. But then you still see him hopping on an airplane with 6 boxes of the maximum amount, like just the relentlessness of whatever it takes to get it done. And he's like, I gotta help all of my friends out, so I guess I'm the one that's gonna hop on a plane and carry and like just fill the luggage and check as many boxes to fly, just materials back and forth.
Buying them too. It wasn't like they were expensive, but at the time, I don't know, $7 a piece or something. And you buy 5,000 of them, and they come in a box this freaking big, and you're thinking that's do the math. That's $35,000 that's in this little.
Yeah. What if it was full of cocaine? It'd probably be worth more. Masks.
And my sister and her husband are involved in big time infrastructure construction. So that's basically, my sister was on some kind of Zoom call. I'm so tired of Zoom calls.
Everybody is.
With her vice president of and we're talking, billion-dollar companies here that they work for, Kiewit, and she's with Brown Caldwell, and they do bridges and highways and sanitation, and water treatment, big time stuff. And she was on a Zoom call and had one of our elephant masks on. She's got the family, all their stuff, and her boss said, "Hey,
where'd you get that?"
And we were selling thousands of masks to infrastructure because those guys, there was no not being essential.
Right.
At that stage, they were just trying to help out their people. Don't know what to
be
do.
safe.
And,
like, how can we help you?
So it gave us an essential kind of path, but also made us feel like we were doing something for people too. It gave us a little bit of purpose and making a damn money. I think Ryan said they lost a lot of money on that project.
Everyone was really busy.
Yeah, we were really
but did
busy.
we make money?
But it held us above water.
Yeah. Yeah. Breaking even's cool sometimes. Like when it's just I'm with you on that. Or even losing a little bit of money.
Yeah, just surviving.
Keeping your team paid, keeping the lights on, keeping those presses running.
Yeah.
How did you, when you printed masks, what was your, were you limiting yourselves? Were you doing multicolor? Were you just doing single color? Did you change your platens? What was your mask tech?
When it first happened, it was bandanas. Masks weren't even a thing.
Yeah.
So it was mostly trying to figure out how you would fold it, roll it, and where you would locate on the mouth or below the mouth, or how the hell we put this thing so it's not notches are in the way, and it was a small logo, obviously, and that was easy enough because with adhesive you can hold them down.
Yeah, sleeve flatten, just rip them.
Once we got the multi-layered mass, it was figuring out how to hold them down. We got clever. We had some Livingston stuff early for pant legs.
Yeah.
And then Eric and Action did come up with their mass ballast.
The clamp down, like where you could put it on, like
But anything that was single color, particularly on lights, it was blow and go, and drop them, print it,
rip it.
Yeah. Because what happened? So we paid $7 early, but immediately it drove the prices down, especially as we got the N95 mask. And so we were selling $8, $9, $10 masks, but you had to put your logo on. I'm not selling
blank masks. That's smart. We found ourselves getting there.
Yeah, this is what we can bring to the table.
Yeah.
Help the brand. And it worked for a minute, but as the prices started just kind of falling, I still got inventory.
How many masks do you have? More than 1,000?
I'm sure.
Oh.
I'm sure. And you remember too, it started of just Bell Canvas with just a piece of jersey. It flipped over your ears, and then we did a bunch of stuff for GSG. We did a bunch of sublimation for them because they were doing a dual ply poly something or other. Same deal, flipped over your ears. Yeah. And then started, and the hallway started mask. But you had to know some people. You were shipping all over.
Yeah.
It was helpful and useful, and you did really did. It was a.
I need help. Hey, can you help me out? What do you got? What do you got today? What do you have today?
And it was, nobody cared about color.
No.
I mean, the more neutral, the better, because you could work with anybody's logo. But you got navy, okay.
We'll take whatever you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
Man, I found, so the Thunder, Oklahoma City Thunder, wanted to partner with the medical systems in Oklahoma City, and they had all these old jerseys of like players' names on the back that don't play for them anymore, promotional shirts, things that they've given away over the years, and they said, can you guys turn these into masks? And so, like, we're not a cut and sew facility, but for the pandemic, we're like, well, absolutely, we will figure out how to turn these into masks. Yeah. It was my buddy Kyle, who is a leather worker, that he introduced me to this piece of technology that I didn't even know existed called the clicker press. And the clicker press, we just had a die made that, it was on a piece of wood, and then it probably had like a 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch blade on it, and we could stack up 50 shirts at once, put it on this like hydraulic clicker press, push it down, pop it, and then every shirt would produce 2 of the same, like how Bella Canvas was making them.
Yeah.
And we were just clicker pressing, and it had prints on them, and it was jerseys, and then we got them all, and they decided that they wanted them sewn together because it was just, they didn't want single-use masks. They wanted something that people could use for multiple times, and so ended up sewing them together. And it was a really cool activation that involved several different embroidery shops and things around town. But it, you just have to pivot and you learn.
It gave you purpose. It gave you a reason to bring everybody in.
Yeah, because the break, it was quiet, and that was a scary.
It was
scary.
I won't forget the feeling of when you get flushed and you're like just for a good week or so, just going maybe longer, maybe a month, just kind of going, now what? How is this? I'm not in the twilight of my career, but I don't exactly have 30 years left to rebuild anything, and thinking in terms of and we got kicked out of a show in Irving. We were at GPX. It was probably Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So on Thursday, we were set up and had a first day of the show, and everybody's making jokes, kissing on each other, and acting like this is stupid. And the next day, we got text and phone calls that in fact shit, Dallas is shutting down, and we need you to leave. And so it's the most surreal, quiet teardown. Everybody's just looking at each other like, what the hell is going on here? And they sent us home, and the next day, Monday, the team comes in, and Denver's now shut down too. And It's sort of this supposedly only essential, yada yada. We were able to break loose a big order of bandanas for the gas company, again through knowing infrastructure. We don't do any real business with them. I've been trying to get my sister to do business with us for years, but it just was the right thing. I'm not joking. You're a spiritual man. I felt people's prayers. Small business was on the chopping block, and we were scared to death. And felt like cared about you as a business owner, and personally, but as a business owner, and in a cottage industry as a reasonably small company with good-sized staff and their families. And now what? So getting a bandana order was a big deal. It gives you that purpose and everything. And we just had kind of our year-end meeting. It's the first meeting I've had for a year. I'm not a meeting guy anyway, but I felt like I made one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in business during the early parts of the pandemic and through all of 2020. I had daily meetings with my team. And I cried, and I yelled, and I laughed. And in hindsight, everybody was going through their own thing. And 10% of my people gave a shit. The other 90 were... They don't really care about your personal problems. It was such a personal thing at the time, and I think I overlooked their personal needs as opposed to maybe oversharing what's going on with the business and where we're at and what's happening and da-da-da-da-da. In so many ways, not seeing it from their perspective and not being, maybe I would go, I really don't care, I just need to make sure I get my paycheck this week. Or take another attitude, hope I didn't have people like this, but why do I have to work and all my friends are staying at home getting a paycheck?
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. So 2022 was your best year. What's 2023 look like? What are you looking for?
I'm optimistic, but careful.
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody, actually it was Lucas at FX, and what's the old saying, if you plan to fail kind of thing?
Yeah.
I think we're on a rocket ship. We're going to be careful not to let it go too, but I think we can maintain it. I think we've got the right infrastructure, we've got the right people. We need more right people. Through the pandemic and through hires and let go of people that don't come to work and all that, we have a good team. No matter what, we always have had a good core, and that core is getting a little bigger. We need it to get bigger yet. We're also at a spot where I feel like we need to maybe reinvest, and I don't know what that looks like. All of our equipment is 15 years old. The screen print equipment is rock solid. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's all paid for.
And
right?
it's paid
for.
Well, my embroidery equipment's wore out. And it's like, do I really want to throw another...
You guys do a lot of embroidery work?
Not compared to screen.
Sure.
But we've always done it.
You have to. It's just a...
We're pivoting a bit. We're doing a lot more transfer. Way more transfer. I never would... Don't tell anybody.
Okay,
This old school screen
anybody.
printer is offering way more. You can invest in transfer for $10,000. Investing in embroidery is $60,000 or more if you want a reasonable amount of heads. And all our heads are the same age and they're all wore out. And at the time, it was a great system, but they're not built for really long term, so they need to be replaced. So far, I've been able to kind of part them together and keep some of it running to sew flats. I got a buddy that basically, I told him he's wore out my embroidery equipment by farming hats out to me, and he just bought a new 6-head Tajima. So those beautiful hats. I said, okay, you get all my hats from now on. And then investing in the dimensional transfers, the different embroidered transfers, 3D embroidered transfers, plastic transfers, all the different cool shit. A lot of the customers are like, you know what, this is way better than embroidery. So
Where do you buy your transfers from?
Everybody.
Everybody.
We're trying to be more loyal to stalls.
Okay.
We're sort of part of the family over there. We do some consulting work, and Dane and I, brothers from way back, and they hooked us up with a guy that's really taking care of us. And we don't know it, so we don't even speak the language, and we're not doing a lot of it yet, so nobody cares. So Dane hooked me up with Josh, hooked me up with him, and now they're taking care of us. And I don't think it's because of who I am. It's because they give a shit, but we're trying to do as much as we can with them. But Supercolor got us in, and they've been really good to us. I know Michael and Markel very well, and I don't want to burn him at all because they've been really good to us. Howard does great work, and it's nice to have some backups and some different. Because we don't do a lot of work, so it's not like I'm going to take my $100,000 in business and move it over here. I think it can get there pretty quick.
What's a product that Stahl sells that probably a transfer product that a lot of printers don't take advantage of that you think is a home run or something that's pretty special?
I just wrote an article for Graphics Pro on this.
Okay.
Embroidered patches. So we had, the article tells the story, but we had a customer that wanted embroidered left chest, right. It's all Western shit out there. You may have some of that too. Left chest, right chest, and a full back.
Like
8 inches isn't enough.
Roscoe?
No.
Bigger.
Okay. Bigger. A, I didn't tell the customer my embroidery equipment's tired.
Yeah.
But my embroidery equipment's tired.
Sure.
B, you can't afford this. It's 300 and something dollars. I don't have the resources or the bodies right now to manage it. So the answer is no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So they took it to another customer or another decorator in Vegas. Couldn't screw it up anymore. It's probably just horrible.
Yeah.
So came back basically, for lack of better terms, please, what can you do for us? What can you do for us? I called my guy Danny and said, what? I can't embroider this. Let me show you what we can do. And we just finished the job, and we got $20 in the patches, and billed the customer $40.
And they're sending you a embroidered patch, and then you heat set it, and then do you post stitch around it, or do you heat?
It's got satin stitch all the way around. If you didn't know the business, I mean, you and I can tell it's an embroidered patch, but if you didn't know the business, and it's fully adhesive, you're not getting the
puckering or pulling.
But I've learned some things about the process too. Did you know you can get a heated bottom platen?
I just learned that. That's a big deal.
That's some brilliant shit right there, right?
Yeah.
So things like that learning the process, and then helping us with technique and even what the verbiage is, what the language is with dealing with the transfer company. What is that even called? So they've done really well in helping us kind of learn how to go from here to here. We've got a ways to go, but we're doing a lot of it. And I thought the customer was loving them and didn't have to 300,000 stitches at 50 cents a thousand.
Yeah, that's wild. And for $20, that's.
Yeah, and they do a. I think it's under $50 to get sample. And you go apply it, send it to the customer, and say, "Is this what you're looking for?" For $50 for sample. And we did an 8-inch version, and it's all fill. Did an 8-inch version, and they said, "Oh no, it's not big enough. Can you make it 10?" Good Lord! But where they didn't go, and we just couldn't do it. There's no way we could do it. There's a shop.
I love you, brother.
Love you, man.
Thank you for sharing with us, and thank you for everything that you do for this industry and for the people that you care about, and like just making space for all of us. So cheers to you, Lon.
Cheers to you. I told Jackie you're kind of a community guy, I'm kind of a community guy, and that's how we sort of hooked up.
That's what we do. We take care of each other. Thanks for watching.